Welcome back, round 3 edition of Patriots Draft Central coverage on CLNS Media. Taylor Kyles, Mike Kadlick, and me, John Zannis, hanging out here, and we are going to we're gonna take you through the Patriots pick at 76. Have not been active, could have been active. We're up to pick 73 right now, I believe. So the Patriots are pretty close. To drafting. What I will say, and the Bruins are about to go on a power play. We are watching multiple things here. The reason we were late here is because we were talking about what we don't know, which is as it turns out is a lot. But that's okay. We're learning. We do know that almost all of Taylor Kyle's round 2 picks are still available in the 3rd round. So that's
and the one that isn't was already picked. So
yeah. And we do know that the show is sponsored by our exclusive wagering partner, FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston. Get 200 in bonus bets when you place your first bet. $10 deposit is required. So here we are. We are hanging out. Patriots pick 76. Still plenty of good names. I'm just going to throw up guys we talked about for the top 5. This was Mike's. Darnell Washington, who you really wanted in round 2, and Downs. And look at this list. It's pristine.
Yeah. Yep. We don't even need my other graphic for round 3. Again, I'm shocked that Josh Downs is still here. DeJuan Jones, same. It sounds like Darnell Washington is a medical thing. I know he's had a foot injury, but then there's also a knee, and that was reported by Aaron Wilson from Pro Football Network. And so, look, I don't think it's a skill thing at this point for Washington, but I mean, Brayton, who the heck was the tight end that just went from Penn State? I can't remember his name. But again, Washington is like the fifth or sixth tight end here now. And I had him as my tight end 1. So feels like a fit. I don't know what the where the value is for him now. I don't know where he falls to, but it sounds like it's an injury. And so
yeah. And that's that. And again, Porter went early, so that dream died. Keon White was taken. Sam Laporta, who was Taylor's tight end, not around, but the guys, DeJuan Jones, who everyone said is the last tackle anyone would take, and consideration in the 2nd round, still there, and Josh Downs still there. Jalen Hyatt went. That was my binky. Mims went. That was another guy I thought they might consider. And your boy Tank Dell went as well.
Oh, that was a heartbreaker, so man. I love me some Tank. Yeah. And I mean, that's how I I don't want to say expected it to fall that way, but I've been saying Josh Downs is more of a pure slot guy, and everybody who's been taken before him is not that. They're guys who can either play X, or they're guys who can at the very least play Z. So, down slipping isn't a huge surprise, but at the same time, like if the Patriots want to get an offensive weapon, I'd like to see them get a tight end because I am valuing the position. Oh, Bruins. Update. Oh, hell yeah.
4-3.
Let's go Bees, who play at TD Garden.
There we go.
Did you know that? Yeah, just for anybody who didn't know.
You have to stop.
I'm literally from New York. Like, give me a little bit of time to adjust.
It's horrible. It's so bad for business.
I'll figure it out.
Everybody who rolls through here is like born and raised kid, the Kadlicks, the Lazars, the Marinovskis, the Baths,
I'm blazing my own trail. You got a New York guy joining your team. Like, what else could you want? It's the ultimate convert.
I know. You got to stop saying that. But all right. So again, lots of players still available. Again, between Downs and your O lineman, and that was some nifty shit on that goal. Nice little.
It's Bertuzzi again.
Blind pass Bertuzzi right to Pasternak's stick, open net. Yeah, screw you, buddy. That was a dirty hit on Lindholm. Got you in the box in the first place. It should be like 11-3 right now, Boston. 11-2. This is such a garbage game.
We gotta get Marinovsky live on here with us now. They're going later, right?
I love that kid. I want to just do a whole party with everybody and just talk about whatever the hell we feel like talking about. Who cares what sport it is? We all grew up here. We all like all of it. Anyway, that was a great pass. So Pickett, which one do you want? I want Downs. Go get it. Get Downs.
I still I want to say Darnell Washington, but I guess the injury makes that a huge unknown. So I'm with you. I'm with Josh Downs. Josh Downs is the guy here.
Okay.
Or Tucker Kraft. If we want to go tight end, Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State is a sneaky guy here too that could go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Damn, that's what I was gonna say. Literally, cram. I mean, yeah, I want a weapon or a tackle at this point. Steen's gone, so the next tackle that I really like, if it's not DeJuan Jones, is Wanya Morris, who's probably going to be, if they wanted to trade back into the third round, maybe early fourth round, they grab him. But if it's not a tackle, I want it to be a weapon. So either, like you said, Mike, a Josh Downs, a Tucker Kraft, just someone who's dynamic and either a 3-level threat or they're versatile and can line up in a lot of different places and still give you a lot of athleticism. And as we saw with their first 2 picks, clearly, and honestly, what we've seen from the past few years when Matt Groh has really taken over, you see a lot of value for athleticism in the first few rounds. So, I think that's a good indicator, but we'll see where they go exactly.
Yeah. We'll see where they go. I don't know.
Jalen Hyatt goes to the Giants. So Patriots are on the clock. Cedric Tillman went to the Browns. So another wide receiver goes, and Atlanta took. I can't find it. But wide receiver went, and so Josh Downs could be in play here. I feel.
Oh man, that'd be so much fun.
That would be a good pick.
Okay, I love saying this. Oh man, Pasta had a breakaway too. Could have made it 5-3 with the Hattie. Patriots are on the clock. Josh Downs, Taylor Kyle's grooving out. What are you doing? Do you know what we're doing here? We're on the clock, man.
Focus. I have music in my head constantly. That's just let me rock. Let me rock.
Focus. Yeah, I mean, absolutely tip it. I want to hear what the chat needs. Taylor's
let's
Marte
go.
Mapu.
Oh my God, my light fell. I got so excited. Wow, they're loading up on defense. That's huge. He was one of the most athletic players in this draft.
Can you pick a lane?
I know.
We keep saying we want offense, and then you're getting freaked out every time they get a defense.
I'm sorry they got one of the best athletes at linebacker in the draft. I'm sorry that I'm excited about that. But
is this a reach at 76?
Honestly, he's someone I think started to creep up boards as the process went on because he's a great athlete. Like seriously, like fantastic. He's the guy that you put in the box. Also, another one of the guys I wrote about. So, next year maybe you want some draft insight. Tay's your guy to go to. But in all seriousness, he's the kind of guy where you expect Duggar to play more in the free safety, more like actual pure safety. Mapu's the kind of guy you put in the box and he stays, gives you athleticism, gives you that violent hitter as well. I really like this pick. I thought he was going to be more like 4th, 5th round, but I wasn't sure again because his athleticism teams really coveted. I think this is a great pick. Obviously, we want offense, and that's, the name of the game with the Patriots, but I mean, they're loading up on defense. They got very, very athletic. And like I just said, they like relative athleticism score. Mapu's a guy who's jumps out the gym.
He was the Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year last year. So again, I go back and forth with it because now we're loading up on defense. John, I saw your tweet earlier, which was obviously sarcasm, but how they hate Mac Jones. It also feels like
Bill Belichick hates Mac Jones. Yes.
Yeah, it feels like they're okay with the offense they have, which I don't really know how I feel about that because on one hand, I liked the additions of Juju Smith and I like Mike Gesicki and I like how they filled out their offensive line, but they clearly still needed more and they have yet to address offensive tackle and wide receiver through the first 3 rounds, and I don't like that. It just feels like, again, they might be leaving. They kind of might be hanging Mac out to dry here, and I don't know how I feel about that.
And that's what I don't get.
Draft's not over, folks. Draft's not over.
I know, but we talked about it in the last stream. You're just running out of opportunities to kind of get playmakers, and when you get into the 4th and 5th round, those are done. That's where you're getting your depth players. That's when you start to get backup interior defensive linemen, corner, defensive back depth there. Some projects perhaps, but and then you're possibly even starting to think of special teamers at this point. You missed your opportunity to do it. If you were going to do it, you probably had to do it in the first couple of rounds, and it didn't happen. So
they still have time to move back in, but it's underwhelming. I guess underwhelming is the right word here for me. Again, I don't know where Marte Mapu was exactly projected to go, but I didn't think it was 76. Andrew Callahan says Bill loves him, according to a team source.
I'm tweeting it out right now. This is a perfect fit. This is a really good fit.
I mean, Taylor, I'm gonna get annoyed now.
What do you mean,
You can't be this excited about this guy. You can't be this excited.
I was hyping. I'm literally tweeting it right now. You can read what I said about him in my day 3
You can't be this excited about him here in this spot, though. You can't tell me that that's the guy above all else you wanted in this spot. You can't.
At 76, right. I'm going to push back on that, too.
Yeah, you can't tell me. This is a guy probably outside most people's top 100. You're telling me 4 fourth-rounders, you like this guy, you can't find a way to trade in to get him?
Every single scouting report I read said that this was a guy that the league liked more than people realize, which is, again, that's why I'm not surprised that he's this early, because I picked him on day 3, and I'm telling you, I was writing the piece, and I was like, I don't know if I really should have him as a day 3 guy, because he might sneak up. So, you can get mad at me if you want. I don't really care. I'm just going to be there in mid-season when everyone's like, oh my God, Marte Mapu, he's so athletic. He's such a freak athlete.
Hold on, though. I don't disagree with the fact that he could be a good fit on defense, and in 3 years he could be a good player. But why haven't we addressed offense is my thing. Why haven't we addressed wide receiver for a weapon? Why haven't we addressed even another swing tackle?
220 pound
well, hey, both of the guys we just
State.
talked about are still Josh Downs, Darnell Washington, still on the board. They have all those 4th round picks like we talked about. It's the 3rd round. If they want to trade,
they have to move back in here.
Thank you. If they want to trade into the 3rd round, they can.
Taylor, this is a 5th rounder. Again, you only had 3 picks in your first 2 days. You can't take a 5th rounder with one of them. You just can't. We're due for one every draft, right? You're due for one every draft. You have 4 4th-round draft picks. Find a way to take him with one of those. Again, you're due for Bill reaching up about 75 spots ahead of, where someone's supposed to go to take him. I just don't see that here. You can like the guy. You can like Cole Strange. You can not like him in the 1st round. You can like this player. You can not like him right here,
Okay, this is a guy. Okay, so the best comp I can give you, the quickest one is Kyle Duggar, a smaller school guy who a lot of people didn't know about, who thought was a reach. And now who's talking about, Kyle Duggar was a reach in the 2nd round? This is a 3rd round pick who gives you a similar athletic profile at, again, also linebacker. Again, that's another position I've been saying the Patriots need to get better at, because you got Juwan Bentley. He's probably going to get re-signed. He's going to be there for a while.
I know, but this is a safety. This is a safety. He's not a linebacker. No,
it's a guy who was a safety. He's probably going to get converted to a linebacker who can also
he's
bump into the slot.
215 pounds here. I just don't think this is not your, I understand.
And Kyle Duggar is a safety who plays linebacker.
I understand. He's in the Kyle Duggar mold for that type of safeties being used as linebackers as modern defenses are doing. But
and I also understand. I'm very aware of the fact that Mapu is someone that most people have not watched. He went to Sacramento State. I
refuse to watch him. I
get that. I'm not going to fault anybody for being upset with this pick. I'm telling you, I watched the guy. I read about the guy from people who I trust more than myself, and was like, you know what? Not only some of the tape, just because he was in so many places on defense, sometimes it was hard to find a specific play where you're like, this is the guy. But when the play is in his area, you're like, oh, damn, that's a guy I want on my team. Again, I get you want offensive pieces. I completely understand that. I loved it. Like I was saying, I wanted them to get a tackle. I wanted them to get a pass catcher. But Mapu, man, if they like him this early, he's going to be a game changer. We'll play this like you played Evans' clip back from last year. This is my pick where we're going to run this back in a couple years and be like, hey, look, Taylor was right, because this guy is a crazy athlete.
Great.
Maximize.
I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player, though. I'm not saying, like, there's not going to be a victory lap. I'm sorry. I don't want to give a Taylor Kyles victory lap if he's a good player, because I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player. I'm saying they needed something else. Don't take him here. They needed something else here.
I'm saying a game changer in the third round is great value. And yeah, you can say that again, but we've also, Mike, you've been on the same boat as offensive tackle is something they're not super concerned about because of Riley Reif and Calvin Anderson. So then
76 was my sweet spot for the tackle.
Maybe they trade back. Like I'm saying, if we finish today and there is no offensive weapon on the board, then I'll lean more into like, okay, this is very risky. But at the same time, like Tank's off the board. Josh Downs is still on the board. Like we just don't know. So this is one of those where if they leave the fourth round without an offensive weapon, then I get seriously concerned. But this is, I'm sorry, this is just such a good piece on defense. And also, it's one of those like zigzag kind of things that the Patriots do where everyone thought they were going to go offense and there's all this stuff there. And they just get three of the best athletes on defense to actually compete with the offenses that they think are going to be giving them trouble. Like I even said yesterday, where when you talk about Mac Jones versus Trevor Lawrence, Patrick Mahomes, you're not starting with the quarterback versus quarterback. You're talking about the supporting cast. And we've seen Belichick shut down Patrick Mahomes for entire halves of football games, which no one does with teams that people probably wouldn't think could do that kind of thing. So I'm sorry, like if they load up on defense and Belichick is the head coach and they got Gerard Mayo as the successor, like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be pissed off about that. But I also completely understand. It would be great if they got an offensive weapon who people are comfortable with and could say, hey, this guy's going to change the complexion of the offense. I get that. But I mean, I really like those three pieces on defense at all levels too. At all three levels of the defense. Like I'm sorry. I'm excited.
So remember when we said it was 3-3 Bruins like 5 minutes ago? It's 5-5 now. This game is drunk.
That's insane.
I don't know, Taylor. For what it's worth, for Taylor's victory lap, okay? Daniel Jeremiah, Marte Mapu, the NFL Network's Daniel
Josh
Jeremiah.
Downs is off the board.
Marte Mapu is my favorite player in this entire draft. The Patriots are getting an absolute playmaker. Great.
Oh, I hate playmakers in the third round. Oh, I hate that. Wait till they get Yasir Abdullah.
Okay, hold on.
Just wait.
Hold on. I'm going to look at some stuff.
All right.
Look at some stuff.
Dude's a baller, I'm telling you, man. He's a baller. Like, literally, their second linebacker was Jelani Tavai. I like Jelani Tavai. I thought he made a lot of strides.
These were your round 3 targets. Why is this guy you love not on them?
Let's see.
Ha-ha! Taylor's squinting like, oh, wait.
Why is this other safety on here and another cornerback? And why are those guys there?
Because I like Jordan Poole very much as a safety if they want a Devin McCourty replacement. But Devin McCourty has also said that they're pretty well set on the back end. So, that was what my thought was as an outsider. Maybe they're more comfortable internally. Corey Trice, a guy who I loved as another big outside corner for them who'd probably come at a good value. I've also said that they could find somebody like Rajon Wright later in the draft, who's another big, physical, long corner who fits that mold, but at a better value because he has concerns coming from a smaller school, He's also one of the guys on Last Chance U, so obviously, maybe some pedigree, character concerns, whatever. But yeah, I can justify them not picking both those picks. So what you got?
I'm saying a guy you loved didn't make any of your top 5. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, man, I can't bat 100. I'm sorry. I had my first 2 guys.
Can I talk you guys through a quick scenario that could have made more sense here? Just in my opinion.
Yes.
So Josh Downs just goes at 79. Patriots should have taken Downs at 76. And then if they traded up for Marte Mapu, fine. If you love him that much and you love Sacramento State and the value doesn't matter and it doesn't matter that he's a small school guy and whatever you want to call it, then do it that way. Get your weapon for Mac. I'm sorry. Mac Jones still deserves more. This is just...
But we're also talking about Josh Downs. I've been saying this. I love Josh Downs. I have been very vocal about it. He's a slot-only player, and the Patriots like versatility. I'm sorry, but like the Colts are a team where they've got two giant outside receivers. Josh Downs is perfect. Like that's a team where, you draft Josh Downs and he is immediately a game changer because he is an explosive complementary piece. If you're talking about the Patriots, they need a little bit more than that. They need somebody who can move inside out. So if they don't think the value's there, then again, like I'm just saying, I think if you're talking about a game changer, Mapu gives you a lot. And in terms of versatility, especially like what they like, he was a leader on that defense in college.
I will say, Taylor, I love the Patriots defense. Love the Patriots defense. The Patriots defense is amazing. They have so many versatile defenders in John Jones and now Mapu and Marcus Jones and Jalen Mills and Kyle Duggar. And like again, their defense is filthy. They have the edge rushers. They have Uche. They have Judon. They have Keon White now. They have Christian Barmore on the inside. Like, their defense is nasty. So stop. And stop filling it. And add weapons on offense. And add some swing tackles. And take a chance at another wide receiver because I love Juju Smith. I do. I think Juju's better than Jacoby Myers. I do. But, like, you still want more. You still need more. Mac Jones, year 3. Give him something else to work with at 76, and then trade up for Mapu. That's my opinion on it. Maybe go with another. Now we're going back and forth, and we're spinning our tires here. But
and that's the thing. Like I'm not trying to pretend that. Like I've been saying, I understand. Man.
I think you had I think you had a disproportionate reaction, and it upset some people, me included. Okay, that's where it is. I think I think you got massively excited, and then got us a little excited.
I like him.
I'm just explaining.
Yes.
What happened?
Yes.
And then, that's what happened. Honestly, it comes back to this. This was what I made for dinner tonight. You know what this dish is called?
No.
Nobody knows?
No.
Mapo tofu.
Oh.
It's fate.
I did it.
That's fate. You knew. John knew.
What did he know?
I did it.
I just really want to see them move back in now.
I do too. I'm not going to lie. I would love to see them just sneak in, get a little offensive piece, but also
Tucker Kraft went as well.
Guys, I can't say this enough to people. It is simply value, my friends. That's all we're talking about. If this player who he loves is available and was projected by many, and most of those people don't know what they're doing. So you don't know, but we're talking a 5th or 6th rounder in the 3rd round feels high. You don't see
That's what we think. We do not know what teams think. And I'm saying everything I heard about Mapu was he's probably going to go earlier than people think.
Okay, that's fine. But everything we've heard about, Bill's done the I drafted this guy out of nowhere thing quite a bit. And it's missed as many times as it's hit. And it's probably missed more. So it's not like they're that much smarter than everyone else. I do think this is a frustrating thing that some people get with the way Bill drafts is small boards, certain number of people that they look at and talk to. And then when it comes up, I like this guy, I'm taking this guy, and not necessarily considered, what's going on. And I think this is a case where they like this guy and they took him. But again, explain this to me, okay? Mm-hmm. Explain the logic. Christian Gonzalez is a player they supposedly liked and supposedly even considered trading up for. But they were cool enough to trade down a few picks, rolling the dice he might not be there. And if you don't get him, oh well. You couldn't roll the dice that you could get this guy somewhere a little bit later in the draft. You had to go here and now. That makes no sense to me. Like, there's no equivalent player on your board that you could have taken somewhere lower than this now. I find that odd.
I don't know what NFL teams' boards were like. Like, I know you want me to have an answer.
We never know. We never know. We could all.
Yes, but we go on what And
it's all based on a premise that we know we don't know. So we're not sitting here saying we're smarter than them. We're simply saying, based on whatever information's been made available to us, and that includes the Bruins are now down 6-5. That includes this information that includes a million people who have watched endless amounts of tape and talked to a bunch of people, put stuff together. They're not dumb. They're not always right. But you're talking about a lot of brain power and a lot of hours being put into this stuff. And for the most part, it's close-ish. So we're not talking a guy who's at 50 and taking it 60. You're talking about multiple rounds, 2 and 3 rounds. Those projections, it's very rare for the entire world to be 3 rounds off on a guy. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. That's what I don't get is it's not, whoa. You're seeing it right now, Taylor. A lot of people projected to go in the second round are still here right now. So, of course, there's variation. There's, there. But I don't know. I just don't know about this.
Okay, so here's my counter argument. You tell me. Give me 3 players who the Patriots should have picked before Mapu. And I say this with understanding that he's a small school guy. You think that the value wasn't great. I
believe the Patriots should have
Josh Downs, Tucker Kraft, DeJuan Jones.
I believe they should have aggressively.
DeJuan Jones still is on the board. So
they should have aggressively targeted greater areas of need with their versatility of all of the picks they had. Why do you trade down from 14 to 17, risk missing a player that you supposedly like to stockpile more picks? You're not going to draft 11 people. It's time to get aggressive. So get aggressive and address some of those other areas. That's what I don't get. Standing pat and not moving around and not doing that's the problem. I think I feel I'm echoing what a lot of people are thinking. We're not pretending we know what is really going on beyond the scenes. This isn't a we're smarter than them thing. It's just it's a logical thing. You have the picks, and that gives you the flexibility and the ability to move around and address certain things. And they didn't. They took this guy, and that's that. So
I understand. Okay, so let's think about it this way. Think about every year the Patriots won the Super Bowl in their second dynasty. Who was at weak side linebacker? Jamie Collins and Kyle Van Noy. What did those 2 players have in common? They were game-changing presences who made literal, completely momentum-shifting plays consistently in the playoffs, right? Right. If we're talking about receiving talent, anybody who is still on the board, even Josh Downs, because of his lack of scheme versatility, is someone who you see as more of like a complementary piece. And I even said that with Josh Downs. I think in their system, he probably works pretty well, but he is still restricted in what he can do. He's not Edelman. He's more Amendola with speed. So then they figure, okay, offensively, we cannot draft an offensive weapon who gives us enough firepower to keep up with these top-tier offenses, like we just said yesterday. So what do they do instead? Let's get some of the freakiest athletes in this entire draft on defense, and then we'll see what we can do. They got a game changer in Christian Gonzalez. Keon White is maybe more of an argument because he's raw and has a lot of room to grow.
He's another guy who can
right, because he's a guy who can line up all over the defensive line and is another freak athlete. Mapu is that guy where, like we talked about linebacker, Jack Campbell. First round, you don't really want a linebacker in that range necessarily because the value isn't there relative to the rest of the league. But you cannot argue that game-changing linebackers are huge. All the Patriots' best defenses have had great linebackers. They've got Juwan Bentley, but they don't have a consistent presence next to him, and I've said that in all of my pieces where I address the linebacker position. I like Jelani Tavai. I don't love him as a starter. Mapu gives you that guy who by probably year 2 is your starting weak side linebacker who makes a ton of plays for you. So I'm sorry if I'm going on a rant. I'm sorry if I'm saying things people
It's
don't
not,
like.
Taylor, all of that
value,
stuff.
Just value.
Great. First of all of that stuff could be true, and I'd still say take him a round or 2 later. Second, you need, your defense was good. You took a player, everyone thought, okay, great, that's a great pick in the first round. Second round, okay, more defense, okay. You keep addressing things that you don't need as much. Again, free agency is gone. You don't have very many opportunities to address things. You don't just need them for next year.
Sucked.
You need to build into the future, okay?
I disagree. I don't think the Patriots free agency sucked.
I'm saying the free agent class sucked on offense.
That's beyond the point.
There were no good tackles. There were no good receivers.
That's beyond the point. That's beyond the point. I'm saying the opportunity has passed, and there weren't very many options there either. You really don't have a lot of shots at this. So again, it just doesn't happen on its own. You had, granted, again, everyone's going to put a lot of stock on the coaches and all the damage they did and just assume that now that they're gone, everything is fine. If that's the case, great. We've been wrong a zillion times before assessing what the Patriots had and been proven wrong time and time again. This offense, I don't believe, has anywhere near the firepower necessary to be able to compete right now. So you have to start. You got to not only adjust it a little, you got to really go all in a little bit. And it's just not doing that. It's the trickle. You drips and drabs, a little here and a little there. You got to get a little. You got to get bold. You got to get a little splashy here.
But what available players were going to change their offense? You tell me.
I'm saying I'm talking philosophically throughout the draft at this point, and also again trading up if you liked anybody. And again, I mean Taylor, you put the guy at the top of your top 5 picks in the second round. Josh Downs, and he's sitting on a platter.
Josh Downs. This was the point I was just going to make, Taylor. Josh Downs is a difference maker, and he's a difference maker on day one.
Yes. He
can play in the slot. Keep him in the slot because Juju can play inside and outside. Make Josh Downs your slot guy. Teach him how to play outside. He doesn't have positional versatility, but you know what? He's good enough. He was a fringe top second round pick. He's good enough to potentially
use the fourth
to have traded
up. Or use the force to have traded up a little bit, which they didn't do either. You could have traded up into the second or into the third. We're not talking right at this moment in time. Was there an offensive game changer? No, you're midway through the friggin' third round at this point. But don't tell me there's a defensive game changer either. You took a guy who you're projecting is going to do something for you, but that most people had rated a good bit lower. It just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. You could have found a lot of players probably at that slot that a lot of people would say a lot of good things about. I mean, it's draft day. Everybody has glowing things to say about a lot of people.
Taylor, I think me and you both would have been thrilled with Josh Downs at pick 46.
Mm-hmm.
At 46. So now they pass on him, and you say, "Oh, he's not a game changer." Name a game changer they could have.
I understand. I'm sorry. So I'm trying to learn as I go. If they didn't value him that highly, and I've been saying also for a while that Josh Downs is more Amendola than he is Edelman, which means he's not going to be on the field every down. And also in the third round, that's where I will say, like, third round is where you're like, okay, this isn't going to be someone who's going to play every snap for me, but he is going to be a significant presence on the offense. If they didn't pick him, and if they're wrong, and Josh Downs is a game-changing presence wherever he goes, and the Patriots suffer for not taking him, I will happily admit I'm wrong. Like, I'm not in the business of necessarily being right. It's fun as hell to be right, but like, that's not why I'm here. In all honesty, with Mapu, I'm telling you, he was a guy I really, really liked, but thought he was going to go later because he went to Sacramento State. Like, yeah, I don't think anybody's projecting a guy from Sacramento State, who most people don't even know, to go on day 2. Like, I get that completely. But the Patriots also took Kyle Duggar, who people had to look up because they had never heard of him before in the second round. And now he's one of the fixtures of their defense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not necessarily trying to like do a revisionist history thing here. That's not what I'm trying to do. Like, I love Josh Downs. Go through my Twitter. I loved him. I've also acknowledged that he's not scheme versatile. Whereas Mapu is someone who I think comes on the field in nickel. He could be a slot defender when they play zone. When they play man, he can be in the box, cover running backs. Didn't somebody in the AFC? Oh, actually, no. I think he was rumored to go to the Dolphins. Who is it? Charbonnet. Do you remember where he ended up going?
Zach Charbonnet went to the Seahawks.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I saw a tweet that he went to the Dolphins, but you get somebody who can cover backside of the backfield, blitz, like one of those guys who, again, I understand linebacker is not one of those positions where people get excited, but having a game-changing weak side linebacker is huge for the Patriots scheme. And I really just think that the Patriots saw the talent on offense. And this is where I'm admitting I might have been wrong to say, hey, they were like, there's a lot of talent on defense. And this is also something I said, I think in the front, like there's a lot of talent maybe towards the end of the draft. Patriots might have valued them differently. So I'll admit I could be wrong. Like maybe this is me, liking maybe some guys that I favored in the draft process a little higher than I should. I'll completely admit that. But I'm just here to say I don't think these were bad picks. You can argue them for sure, 100%. But I think these are guys where when we look back in a couple of years, we're like, damn, they knocked it out of the park on defense, and they got 3 players at each level who can be legitimate game changers. And that's the thing where I'm like, I don't know how you're mad. Annoyed that they didn't get offense, sure. But like,
annoyed is probably the right way to put it. Because I'm not mad with the pick.
Mapu, that's fair.
He's a great player. Tom Curran just tweeted that there's a chance that he gets boxed out and doesn't even play this season because of the load they have at box safety, which we'll see what happens with Phillips.
Cool, it's good. I like the surplus, but that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. He's I think he's a linebacker. He's a linebacker.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he bulks up a little bit. Maybe that's where Curran could be right, is I think maybe they wait for him to like add maybe 10 pounds, just bulk up a little more to handle those box duties. But like, again, Kyle Duggar,
cool.
He's got explosive hands, but that's another thing about Mapu. Like, he's got some violence in his hands. And it's
I just want to surround Mac Jones with more. I just want them to surround Mac with more. That's my main point.
I agree.
That's
totally fair.
That's the issue I have. It's like, give the guy a chance. Juju is good. Gesicki is good. Bill O'Brien is good. Make it great. Try and make it great. Do everything you can. Your defense was fine. And I sound like a broken record here now too, but like, I think
you're right, though. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not arguing against that. Like, I'm not saying the offense is fine. I haven't been saying that. Like, I think they could be competent going into the season, especially, again, with Bill O'Brien, the mismatch opportunities, like competency, which last year we saw so many times, how literally a lack of competence was the reason. It wasn't like, obviously there were times the offense couldn't move the ball, which was unbearable to watch. But there were also plenty of games where you're like, if you don't make one of those plays on offense, you have a really good chance of winning the game. Yeah. So with the defense that's not just hanging in games, but actually like, and we even saw that last year with Kyle Duggar, Marcus Jones, Jack Jones making plays and scoring for the defense. I'm sure they saw that and were like, hey, our defense is keeping us in games when the offense literally is crapping its pants.
Right.
So what happens when we get Christian Gonzalez, a weak side linebacker who can legitimately affect game plans, a guy in the defensive line who I'll admit may not be a guy who consistently makes plays in year one, but as you develop him, he's with DeMarcus Covington, who's one of the best defensive line coaches in the league. That's a guy by year 2, you're like, he's going to be somebody that we count on and is going to get another contract.
This is a look, again, I believe this is as Andrew Callahan tweeted, Bill, I love this guy. I'm taking him somewhere. And he saw him, he was available, and he took him, and the rest of the room was like, really? And they were like, yep. He's like, okay, but here, yep, that's my guy. Okay, great. And that's a Bill versus the room sort of pick. It's just almost one of those vibe.
The vibe. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, Bill has, they got Cassari out of the room, and it's like the drafts weren't great. Bill wants to take a back seat, give it to Gro's department, but Bill's like, I have a white flag here. I have if I need something, if I want one, I get to pull one out of my hat. This is my pick. And that's kind of what Bill did here.
You know what else is a little fun fact about him? He's the first player drafted that wasn't invited to the combine. Because usually you draft. Yeah, go ahead. You tell me. Raise your hand.
I got another little fun nugget. For mine, he was also a first-team All-American playing at Sacramento State. So
no, but because they only leave the best players out of the combine, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they leave the small school guys out literally all the time. That's kind of how the combine works. It's like everybody loves to say, oh, if you're good, the NFL will find you. Doesn't mean the combine's going to find you. It means the teams that put in work are going to find you. They also brought him in for a visit. So it's not even like this is a surprise.
They got a box safety. That's what they got in the 3rd round, who's going to probably be redshirted this year.
And now all you have is Kyle Duggar, one of the rangiest, most athletic safeties in the league, playing deep center field for you. I
know, Kyle. We're not saying look. All things being equal,
I'm just teasing.
You can have a lot of players, but you can't have all of them. So you got to pick and choose. If this is what you think
they're on the field together, what do you mean? They're on the field together.
I'm saying if this is the guy, if this is the type of player you think they needed above all other things right now, okay, sure.
I'm not saying that, but if you get an impact player, like again, I'm looking at where the board was, and if they didn't see enough value at pass catcher, which I think was pretty fair. Again, I love Josh Downs. If they said, hey, a slot only guy's not going to cut it for what we need, we'd rather have a guy who can not only like be an asset against the run, obviously, and like stop passes, but also force turnovers for you, create opportunities for the offense. I think that's valuable as well. And again, I was saying yesterday that I want them to get somebody who can score points. That's why Zay was at the top of my board. But then they got Christian Gonzalez, and it's like, well, hey, it's a premium position, not the same as linebacker, obviously, but a premium position where you also get a playmaker. Like, I'm so okay with being wrong about this in a couple years. But like, I just have trouble being upset with this pick. Again, disappointment, annoyance with not addressing the offense. I get that. I'm not going to say anything against that because that's totally fair. But I really like Mapu as a player, and I think he's someone that they could turn into one of those guys where people in a few years forget that he was a small school prospect because he becomes a household name.
And again, as Mike said, we're spinning our wheels here, but all of that could be true. And it would have been great if they took him with one of their 4 fourth-round selections instead of their last day 2 selection. And instead of moving around the board and maybe addressing a position of greater need that they have right now. And I think that's where we're just going to get stuck going back and forth on it. No one's arguing whether or not he might turn. Everyone they draft could turn into a great player. Of course they could. But I mean, again, what are we doing here? It's another guy to add in behind, several other players in that role right now. I mean, obviously every pick is looking towards the future because no one's going to play forever. But that's what they did. That's what they did here. And, some people are okay with it. Some people are raging out right now. And that's where we're at. And the Bruins lost. Everything is bad with this stream. Everything was bad.
This is not good
no.
The vibes were really, really high last night on here with us, with Christian Gonzalez. Felt really good round 2, and I was okay with White. And now it's like, I just feel stuck. It almost feels like we're stuck. That's how I feel. Again, I think Mapu's gonna be a pretty good player in this system.
It worried me too, right? You have this guy. There's a lot of signs, right? You had the Senior Bowl. You had him taking a top 30 visit. It felt like one of those. Bill's gonna do it, huh? Yeah. This felt like one of the type of guy they would have reached for in the second round. This would have been your Tavon Wilson here.
So they're learning.
You're Jordan Richards. Yeah.
It's hard to say anything. I don't want the chat to get mad at me anymore.
They're gonna get mad at you. Look, the chat's mad at you. The chat thinks I'm a dummy. Mike's playing it cool right now.
Just kind of playing you back and forth.
Mike's playing it.
I gotta keep friends on the stream.
That's okay. I'll be the one to make enemies.
I love it.
Again, it's because I don't know. I'm gonna spin my tires again if I go into it.
We're not doing it anymore.
Mapu's. I'm hopping on a conference call at 10:30. So
okay. All right, we'll wrap it up in a little bit. So this is it. Day 2, as we know, Patriots do have a bunch of picks, so there's opportunity to do things there. It's still a lot of needs, but this was, again, forget about the player, forget about anything, just from a strategy. Do you feel they should have been a little bit more aggressive moving here instead of just sitting and taking both of their picks? And again, we're not debating whether or not they got good players at their positions. It's just odd to me that you want to see them want stuff. And right now they have traded back, which to me says they liked Gonzalez but didn't love him because they were risking losing him when they could have absolutely had him at 14. It was a move that paid off. And then you want to see them love something, right? That's what's exciting about trading up. It's, that's my guy, go get him. And they didn't do it in either scenario when they had a lot of ammunition to do it. I find that a little bit frustrating too, to just sit back and just And that's, I think, a knock on Bill Belichick's drafting. A small board. Who's next? I like this guy. Well, he projects to be a couple rounds later. Doesn't matter. I like him. Take him. Done. And that's what they've done a couple of times here. They may love these guys. They may have been the highest guys on their board, but they didn't move around. They didn't try to get creative. They didn't try to address other needs. And I think that's gonna be always be frustrating. Always be frustrating for people. And that's where we're at. Where are we here? Where are we in the draft?
88. Jacksonville is on the clock. Pick is in for them.
Has your tight end gone yet?
No.
Most of my tight ends are gone.
Mike's is still there?
Oh my God, Joe Staley. Dude, these offensive linemen, the amount of, it makes sense because they have to probably eat an obscene amount of food, but it's wild seeing these 300-pound men drop 80 pounds as quickly as they do. I thought Joe Staley was, I thought Staley was one of Nick Bosa's uncles or something.
Yeah.
Man is svelte.
Yep. All right. Well, defense. We'll see what happens tomorrow. As we said, four fourth round picks, nothing in the fifth, and then a couple of sixth rounders, plenty of, yeah. Mike's going to jump off. He's going to talk to the newest Patriot. Taylor, you can jump on there too, if you want, and listen.
I'm gonna bounce. If you guys are still on, I'll come back. But if not,
no, we're gonna wrap it.
Okay.
We're gonna wrap it. We're done. If something happens, we'll jump back in. But I think we're done here. We've said all we're gonna say. We're gonna kind of regroup. We'll have more stuff coming out on the channel overnight. There's a Bruins post-game show right now. If you want, is Ahmed still around? Oh no, I'll put the link in the chat. I'll let you guys know where it is. Hold on. If anybody wants to jump over there. We do have the Bruins going. You guys can go check that out. Give me 1 second. And you want to commiserate a little bit more with some grieving people as the Bruins lose to the Panthers, forcing a Game 7. Unbelievable. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat here. There it is. That's the link. Go watch the Bruins post game. We're done here. Taylor's happy. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. It's only how I feel. Screw you guys. Just kidding. I love you all. And I'm so sorry if I've said anything to offend anybody with my happiness about this pick. But again, I feel for you. I wanted an offensive weapon.
Disproportionate reaction. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. But, you live and you learn, and I'm not mad at three of the best athletes in the entire draft being on the Patriots. You can argue the value, what they needed, all those things. I completely understand.
They still love you.
I'm happy with it.
They love you.
I hope you can see through my flaws, everyone.
No, they love you. It's going to be, as we say, it's going to be all right. Everyone's happy with you. And again, we all know. We all know that we know nothing. I myself more than anybody. I'm not pretending to be any sort of draft expert. So, and even if we were, and we loved all of these guys, we could all be dead wrong and they could all be terrible, or we hated all of these guys and they could all be great. This is something, it doesn't matter. We all know that this is just a big clown show in terms of talking about stuff. I mean, the people paid to do it for a job get it wrong 50, 60, 70% of the time. It's a crapshoot. We all know it here. But in terms of where fans wanted to go and what they wanted to see, and riding the momentum of a near consensus, day one pick, I feel like they never got it. The good news is, Taylor, for the rest of the time that we have a working relationship here, you can hang Mapu over me if he ends up being a super stud, and I will beat the hell out of you if he friggin' never sees him. It's not even that. Like I said, he might be really good. I just can't believe that was the only thing that you could have done with all of your picks and not have moved around and figured out a way to get him anyway and maybe have addressed some other needs. Because again, you're not drafting 11 players. One thing that is interesting about the Patriots, I will say this. We talk about moving around and not drafting a lot of players. The idea of drafting a bunch of people and having a bunch of like fake medical red shirts or whatever it is and signing them, they have a very small number of people under contract for next season. It's very interesting. Like guaranteed,
especially on defense.
It's an extremely small number. So I do understand the logic. I do understand the logic behind possibly taking picks. It just I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm done. Anyway, we're done, guys. Thank you very much. Again, like I said, go check out the Bruins for those of you who are Bruins fans. Fun post-game show over there. Evan Marinofsky and Carl Corazzini used to play for the Bruins. Boston University captain, coach at St. Mark's right now. Smart dude. A ton of insight. I know there's people just want to rage a little bit, but there's also you might learn a thing or two if you pop over there. So check it out if you are so inclined. Who are the Patriots going to take in round 4? If you know, hey, put some money behind it. Go to FanDuel.com/Boston. Sign up, $200 in bonus bets when you place your first $5 bet. $10 first deposit is required. Once again, FanDuel.com/Boston. Bet 5, get 200. You see the Patriots Beat logo there. Patriots Beats tomorrow morning. You can get a recap from Mike Kadlick and Alex Barth. And also you can scan that little, a QR code right there, and it'll take you right to FanDuel. And that's that. So we're done. We are done. We did it. We did all we're going to do. Final pick, Marte Mapu, 76 overall pick, a 210-pound linebacker out of Sacramento State. Taylor's favorite player ever. That's what
on record. On record.
That's it. Thank you guys for hanging out. It was fun. We'll be back with more tomorrow. Probably ride it all the way through the entire 4th round because what choice have we? They have so many picks. So that's probably what we're going to do, and we'll be poking in and out throughout the day. So look for more information, links in our stream. We'll be there if you guys are early risers, especially the West Coasters like Taylor out there. We'll be up and at them early. So